Hello. Happy almost full moon in Aquarius. Unless you're watching this on August 9th, 2025, then happy full moon. I am not in my usual location. I am currently in on a layover in Chicago, on my way to Nashville because I am going to a sex toy conference and I'm so excited. So, I'm really excited to get there. I'm waiting for my flight and I'm on my layover. And I thought it would be a great time to talk about the full moon in Aquarius. So, let me go ahead and get our information pulled up, and I'll be right with you. There is a lot happening around me right now as like people are running to flights. So, if my setting changes all of a sudden, that is why. But I thought it would be really fun to do it this way. Good morning. It is like 5 in the morning here in Chicago, and I have the full moon to talk about with you. This is also called the sturgeon moon, which is in I should say, like, it was popularized or most well known by of course, Native American tribes, but in particular, the Algonquin tribe. The sturgeon moon is the moon that the Native Americans knew that the sturgeon was ready for consumption. So that was like one of their main resources was sturgeon, which is a kind of fish. That's why it's called the sturgeon moon. Um, it is going to happen at 12:55 a.m. Pacific time if you are on the West Coast, and at 3:55 a.m. if you are on the East Coast. And this will be again in the sign of Aquarius, but in particular, this will be at 16 degrees and 59 minutes. So almost 17 degrees, which is still in the second decan of Aquarius. And we'll, of course, talk about what that means. But here is your first prompt as we are starting to build up this energy. So that full moon will reach exactation, meaning peak brilliance, on Saturday, the 9th of August, 2025. But if you've been watching these videos already, you know that there is a window of time that the moon is potent of energy, and that is usually 3 days before exactation and 3 days after. And of course, if you have Aquarius in big placements in your chart, you're probably going to be feeling this full moon more intensely than somebody that might have, for example, a different sign. This is also happening during the peak of the Lion's Gate. If you saw the last video that I did, I talked briefly about that, but the Leo portal is like really good for Leos to kind of like step up into their power, elevate in ways. It's a really potent time for manifestation, specifically for Leos, but really for everybody. Being an Aquarius, while we have the Leo Lionsgate happening as well, the Lionsgate and Aquarius really work well together. They're sister signs. So even though they're on opposing sides of the chart, they really complement each other. So while we're having this full moon in Aquarius, Leo is lending a lot of energy as well. So it's a really nice time. We love this placement. We have the Lionsgate is going to reach its peak between 8/1, so August 1st and August 8th. So it's right as this full moon is coming to peak brilliance. So this is your first question. Where in my life am I feeling the most restricted or imprisoned? So go ahead, take a few moments, reflect on that. If you need to pause this video, you can. Where in my life am I feeling the most restricted or imprisoned? It's a good idea to write this question or the answer to this question down. If you've been watching my videos with me in the past, we record all of our answers and then they culminate in the end. So, where in my life am I feeling the most restricted or imprisoned? If you need more time, please pause on this slide. Otherwise, come with me because we have a time machine to get on. Okay, I'm in Nashville. So That's why I'm in a new place that is more quiet, so I can actually proceed. To get us started, why don't we take a nice deep breath together? Go ahead and empty your breath fully. Breathe in. Hold and release. Thank you for taking a breath with me. Hopefully, we feel connected to this moment despite past me and present me coming together to talk about future me. So, I already gave you a beginning question. And now we're going to move into the meditative exercise. So, um, you can close your eyes for this if you would like. This is the time machine to freedom. So, um, I'm going to leave the words on the screen for you for accessibility. However, it is best if you do power down your vision. It just helps you pay attention to the other senses that you have. So, take a few moments and power down your vision. We're going to take a few moments to just breathe in and out. Try to really slow down your breathing, maybe by half speed, taking your time to fill your lungs slowly and paying attention to where it is in your body that you are breathing in and holding this air. As you breathe out, really allow every ounce of that breath to empty completely before taking another breath in. Please continue this slow breathing. Slowly in and slowly out. Maybe you allow the air to leave in a sigh or some other way that feels cleansing to your soul. Please continue to breathe in and out as you receive this blessing. Spirit, God and Goddess, great source of all that is. I speak this blessing over the soul connecting with me through this virtual connection right now. Please bless them with insight and ancient wisdom from their ancestors and their future self, from their highest and most blessed and liberated timeline. Please grant them clarity as they momentarily glimpse their future through eyes of the present. Please grant them the clarity as they momentarily glimpse their future through eyes of the present. Help them to understand their ambitions that will help us in molding the world into a more liberated, loved, and peaceful place, not only for us right now in this moment, but for the legacies of loved ones that come from us. With me now, please empty your lungs fully. Holding empty for a few moments until your lungs have no choice but to expand. For the biggest breath you've taken all day. When you are ready, release. And please open your eyes to find paper and a writing tool. I want you to really fill this empty space with as much from your future vision as possible. Any details that come to you intuitively, and try to write for 10 minutes or until you completely fill the page. Try not to pause too long or revise or cross things out, but allow the words to flow through you. Please set a timer and pause here while you complete this process. All right, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to pause this recording and come back after I'm done. So really cool thing that just happened to me. I just filled the page. It took me exactly 10 minutes. Like the timer just went off and it was on a significant, like the time was on a significant number. It's 11:29 p.m. and my birthday is 1/29. So that was like just a fun synchronicity I had to share. So I got 2 pages. Um, I hope that you were able to write something on the page. So this is an exercise that I often practice with my scholars as an English professor. Um, If you found it hard to begin writing, that's very common. There's a lot of studies that show that when we are either trained by teachers to be so conscious of mistakes, that it's a hard time to finish your actual thoughts and put them on a page. So I hope me saying, like, don't worry about mistakes, don't worry about crossing things out, just let the ideas flow, helps you to write something on the page. So just put that aside for now. You're going to analyze it in a second that I've been giving you. So the very first one is where in your life are you feeling restricted or imprisoned? I gave my answer. And then we did the meditation. All right, so this is where we just were. We did a little breathing exercise and then we did a writing exercise for about 10 minutes. Now I want you to think, what ancient wisdom did you gain from your future self? So this is a good time to take a look or really to reflect, like, okay, if I'm thinking back to what my future self just provided me with, what is the major ancient wisdom that I'm getting, that I can glean from what I just wrote? And for me, one is that everything is going to work out great. Continue what you're doing, and don't dwell in fear. So I feel like that's a really big one. So I'm going to write my answer down. So this is a good time. If you need to sit with this prompt, go ahead and pause here. Otherwise, you can move forward with me. And the second question is, what ambitions from your future do you see helping the world move forward? So again, this is Aquarius energy. Aquarius loves to help humanity. Aquarius loves to move the world forward in progress and away from convention towards the unconventional. So go ahead and write your answer to this prompt. If you need more time, go ahead and pause this video. Otherwise, let's move forward. These are the major themes. So let's go ahead and talk about these. All right, so these major themes for the sign of Aquarius, you may relate to a couple of these, or there may be like one or two. Or if you're like me and you have a sun in Aquarius, you might see a few of these or most of them really showing up in your life. So whichever ones you're noticing the most, it's a good idea to make note of them. So I'm just writing major themes and I'm gonna make a list as I go. But humanitarian work, progress, innovation and change, individuality, community, really focused on uniting, the unconventional and eccentric, intellect, ideas, freedom, Saturn and Uranus energy, which comes through structure and rebellion, imagination, technology, knowledge and insight, enlightenment of the world, unique perspective, friendship, networking, outsider, genius, strength, endurance, and ancient wisdom. So this is a good moment to maybe write a few of them down. There's a couple that are really standing out to me right now, like freedom, enlightenment of the world, rebellion. I feel very rebellious lately. Um, yeah, and innovation and change. And literally, I could put a lot of these down. I was just, for example, I am in Nashville, Tennessee at a conference, and it's all about sex toys, which are very geared towards technology, right? Um, the unconventional and the eccentric, right? Like all of these things. Even outsider, like right now, I have been really feeling like an outsider to a lot of the world. Like even more so not knowing whether I like fully belong and being okay with that because that's what I'm here for, right? Like I see myself as somebody that is here in order to bring change and ideas and freedom and enlightenment to the world through the unconventional and eccentric, which is basically the opposite of what the Protestant country that we know as America is, right? Which is very afraid of sexuality, which is the area of life that I really deal with. I'm very centered on the sacral chakra. So I'm sorry. If you need the slide longer, feel free to pause here. But again, you're writing down key things that you're noticing are popping up in your life around this time. Otherwise, come here with me. So we are in Aquarius. It is at 16 degrees and 59 minutes, so almost 17 degrees, which is the second decan of Aquarius. Again, the first 10 degrees, or the first nine are the first decan, and then 10 through 19 are the second decan, while 20 through basically 29, 30 is the third decan. So, the themes for this, and again, you're writing down anything that really feels pertinent to you right now. Inflow, which is one of my keywords. So I'm just going to include that here. Inflow, huge for me right now. Anything Mercury ruled, because the second decan of Aquarius is ruled by Mercury. And of course, Uranus and Saturn, because that is Aquarius. But this particular decan is really ruled in Mercury, which is really interesting because while this is happening, we also have Mercury in retrograde. So the fact that this full moon is happening in Mercury retrograde while it is Mercury ruled, to me indicates that it is lending energy during a time where Mercury is usually blocked, right? Mercury in retrograde usually means that something related to Mercury is being blocked, whether that's communication, translation, transportation, and anything really related to Mercury, travel even, which is funny because all of my flights have been delayed on my way here. Um, but also in the second decan is futuristic themes. So, for example, AI, right? A futuristic theme, technology. Futuristic themes can also just in general mean the future or like space exploration, right? It also is connected to complexity, but with ease. So you might be experiencing complexity under this full moon, but it might be a lot easier to kind of be in flow. So you're guided to really be in flow and to allow yourself to experience ease even in the face of challenges. So how can you release, right? Probably control, and allow yourself to experience that complexity for probably contrast sake, meaning sometimes we as human beings want something. So we tell the universe, I want this new thing. And because we want this new thing, there's a lot of things in our life that will hold us back because they're not in the same frequency that you need to be in order to achieve this thing that you want, this new thing you want. So some of the challenges you might have are having to deal with the complexity of not wanting to let go of something that is dear to you, right? Um, in order to allow yourself to align to the frequency of achieving the thing that it is that you seek or desire. You can't experience both without great hardship. So you might have a lot of complex decisions that you need to make. And leaning into ease, what feels Full of ease and flow are the things that are going to help you move forward in the face of complexity and challenge. Science, sociology, combating convention, so working against what is societally allowed, right? Aquarius is very bored with tradition. They're always seeking the unconventional and movement forward and progress. So this is a time where you might feel or see that you're bored in some area of your life and seeking to move outside of what feels conventional. So take a few moments, write down anything here. I would probably say try to stick to 1 to 2 unless you really see many of them fitting with you. It's just going to help you kind of hone down your answers at the end. So feel free to do whatever you want. But if you want to help future you discern which ones are the most important. So for me, I'm putting in flow. I'm going to say boredom, but not in the way you think. Um, Boredom with certain facets of life that are not moving forward. For example, maybe like for me, relations, like a relationship that's not progressing or moving forward. And I'm somebody who loves to move forward very rapidly and intuitively and be in flow with the universe. So if I have like a partnership with somebody in any form or shape, and that person is stagnant and not evolving, it leads me to feel boredom. Um, because I'm looking for somebody to match my mind, my heart, my soul. And if you're keeping yourself stuck, the relationship is going to grow really stale and be boring. So um, combating convention and boredom. I'm gonna add a third one, combating convention, because literally that is what I've been doing over these past few days. If you need a few moments longer, please feel free to stick with the slide a little bit longer. Maybe you need to reflect longer or maybe communicate with somebody that's watching this with you. But if not, please move forward with me because we are doing the fun part and we are zooming in. So again, hopefully by this time, unless you're a new viewer, you have time passages or your circle chart, which is what you see on my screen right over here. This is, of course, my personal birth chart, just because this is a great example to use, and I don't mind sharing about my life pretty transparently and openly. So what you're looking for in your chart is where Aquarius, which is this sign right here, the two wiggly lines, where those appear on your chart. So in order to get your most accurate chart, you not only need your birth date and birthplace, but it's really helpful to have your birth time. So if you have your birth time, then you have the exact houses that are aligning with this full moon. And if you don't, you can still intuit it, which was the entire beginning of this. So now it's almost like checking your work and like adding the details if this is a classroom. So in my chart, you will see Aquarius right here. In time passages, yellow is indicative of an air sign. Aquarius, people always think of it as a water sign, and it's connected to water. It is the water bearer, meaning it's a being with healing waters that it's bringing, but it is an air sign. So um, think of it like an angel bringing healing water. So the being is air, or the character is air, but it holds water. And so it has some of that water energy, but it is air. So this is a significant placement in my chart. As you see here, this is the symbol, the cosmic symbol for sun. So my sun is in Aquarius. It is my only placement in Aquarius, and that is exactly how I would have manifested that because much more Aquarius energy and I would be an alien, right? If you actually know me or have met me in person, I'm already pretty alien-like. So any more Aquarius energy than my sun, which is my major sign, I would be out of this world in another way. So we're not really looking at what placements you have here, even though it is very helpful. For the sake of where we are in our study together, we are looking at the houses. So if this is a pizza pie, you're looking at the pizza slices. Here's the crust, right? We're looking at the pizza slices that align with this part of your chart. So in mine, it is in the fifth house and the sixth house. Makes a lot of sense for me because I already know what the fifth house is. If you saw in the last video, I talked about this beautiful stellium that I have here, meaning you have more than three or more placements, meaning planetary placements in the same sign. So I have a lot in Capricorn and I have this one in Aquarius. So we're going to look at the fifth house and the sixth house. So you might just have one. You might have a chart that aligns perfectly. Each pizza slice has its own, like maybe your eighth house is only uh, Aries, but in mine, it bridges two houses. That's how my chart is structured. So we're going to look at the fifth in mine and the sixth. So whichever number you're noting, please just make a note of that in your personal reflection. And then I'm going to show you the houses. So the fifth house, creativity, romance, pleasure, and children. I'm literally at a conference for sex toys. Pleasure is the thing coming up. And of course it is, I can see how all of them are, but what you will notice is maybe like a couple of themes will really jump out at you. Everything I do is connected to children. The work that I do is always in the root. The root of what I do is to provide safety to children. That is why I practice sex work. That is why I teach about intimacy. That is why I do everything that I do, is to provide better relationships, not only for the people in that relationship, but so that they have a better relationship in front of their children, right? If parents have really great intimacy and great communication, and make sure that they foster each other's creativity and make sure that each other receives pleasure, it mitigates a lot of that cause for fights and issues, which helps children have a really happy upbringing in their home. So, in my personal life at this exact moment, pleasure and romance. Creativity is always here, but really the two sticking out here are pleasure and romance. I just made a big romantic decision as well. And I'm at a pleasure conference. So, of course, right there. In the sixth house, daily routines, health, and service to others. Um, yes, health. I just decided to partner with a company that tests for STIs virtually. So, health and service to others. If you read my journal page, you would definitely see that service to others. Yeah, that's what I feel like is really coming up in my houses. So whatever houses you're looking at in your chart, go ahead and really write down anything from your house that's aligning. And if you don't know which house is aligning, this is the part where you intuit. So take a look at this, and I'm going to show you the next grouping of houses and really take note of what's calling out to you. Here is the 7th through the 12th house. I'm going to give you a second on this page. If you do need it longer, feel free to pause here or go back. Um, Otherwise, let's move forward. This is my favorite part. This is where we put the puzzle pieces on the table with us. So, um, I've already actually written mine, but I'm going to go over them with you. So, restriction and imprisoned. Where this was the first question. Where in your life do you feel most restricted and imprisoned? And I'll share my answers because I am the example for this, right? Again, if you want to help teach moon circles and lead one in person where you are, please watch the asynchronous videos and come to my virtual moon circles. We're always looking for people who want to host moon circles for their community wherever they are. So now let's put the pieces together. So, where in your life do you feel most restricted and imprisoned? My answer was financially because recently a huge change happened in my life that uh, it affects me financially. And under this full moon specifically, what I love to do is as the moon is getting more full, I pay attention to what challenges I'm coming across because those challenges indicate testing from the universe. And I say testing, some people don't like that word, but think of it like if you're giving a testimony of what has happened to you, right? You usually experience a challenge, so or a test. So, how I see my relationship with the universe is like a teacher that loves me very much, that wants me to do really well and wants me to succeed, but they want me to have free will. So they always listen to the things that I want, present me with those things, and I get to make decisions, right? And use my free will. So, for example, right now, one of the things that I'm being tested in is in my second house, which is finances. I would say that finances are coming up, but in combination with the work that I do. Okay, so where in your life, as we're looking at this first question, where in your life do you feel most restricted and imprisoned? I provided my answer. My answer is financially. uh, I would really love to have endless money, not because I need things, but because it would make the work I do easier, more efficient. I could pay people what they're worth to do things. Um, so it feels like right now I'm getting like an influx of communication and work, but I can't even begin to start on some of the work because I don't have anybody to do some of the smaller tasks that feel like work to me, right? Because I'm very blessed. I do work that I love. So it most days I don't feel like I'm doing work. I feel like I'm playing, right? So, if I'm hoping to progress what I do, I need to be able to outsource the work that feels like work. And the thing that will help me do that is money. So that's where I feel the most imprisoned, right? Like, or restricted is financially, right? Okay. Ancient wisdom. So that was after we wrote, we were looking at what ancient wisdom did you gain from your future self? My answer was don't dwell in fear. And I am so proud of you. Because it's true. I am really proud of myself. And then ambitions. What ambitions of yours help move the world forward? For me, it was community, safe spaces to exchange power and love, and helping others liberate themselves. Uh, then we have Aquarius themes and houses and the second decan. So Aquarian themes and houses and the second decan. I'm just going to read all of them that I had. So freedom, enlightenment of the world, humanitarian work, community, rebellion, innovation and change, inflow, boredom, and combating convention. Fifth house, pleasure and romance. And sixth house, health and service to others. So those are all the puzzle pieces that I'm working with. So at this point, you should have maybe like a sheet of paper that has like all of your answers kind of like jotted down. Now we're going to put them into the puzzle. So this is ideally what you would be releasing. Okay, so as we look at this, your ambitions are going to go in that first sentence. So I'm literally going to write all of this down. As this moon grants me the energy to align with my highest purpose, I promise to enact my ambitions to help others liberate themselves and feel safe to exchange power and love. So I kind of like took what was most important from that and I just condensed it to finish that part of the sentence. Okay, next part, which I know will help the world progress. I choose to listen to the ancient wisdom within this is where you put your ancient wisdom, so that I may navigate my future, especially in the areas of, and this is where you take a look at everything that's Aquarian themes, the related to Can and house themes that you noticed and are connecting with right now, and to list a few of those. As I prepare to embark on this future path, I choose to release, and this is your very first question that we gave. So where you're feeling imprisoned and restricted. Under this full moon. So I may experience the freedom promised to me in the future. Wow. Okay. Now I want to talk this through and then reread what mine is so that you have like an example. Unless you feel like you got what you needed and you are done. But if you want to stick around and hear kind of like my reflection through this, if that's something that's interesting to you, be a part of this conversation. And please, always, please put your ritual release burn below in the comments if you feel brave enough to do so. Share it with us. I would love to read them. And so what I'm noticing is I talked momentarily because we're talking about ritual release burns. And I talked about finances. Where are you feeling the most imprisoned and restricted? And I said, finances. So for that one, I put financial fears, right? Because my testing has prompted me to return psychologically and emotionally to similar financial fears that have come up in the past. So it's a past pattern of fear, and I've worked really hard over the past few years to release that. And I have like my personal universe around me has continually provided in such a way that I had the privilege of living mostly without any financial fears for like a year, for the past year. It was like a taste of what's to come. Does that make sense? For the universe truly gives us what we want. I mentioned testing before a blessing, right? The testimony. So what I have noticed through observing my relationship with the universe is that you've asked the universe for something new. The universe has crumbled the things around you that are not in line with the frequency of the new thing you want. As you begin to move towards that thing, you begin to receive the blessings, which is confirmation that you are on the right path and you're making the right decisions. When you are ready to expand to the next level and truly receive, right? You've been doing the work, you've been healing, and you've been receiving the blessings and the rewards in pieces and in moments, then in larger pieces and in moments, to such a degree that it becomes your actually lived reality. Then what happens is you experience, because you have told the universe you're ready to expand, and I recently did. I told the universe, I am ready to experience having an excess amount of money because I am not afraid of that. One of the things that I was programmed to believe is that money is the root of all evil, and that people who have money become evil. And I've not only had a beautiful experience of receiving friendships and relationships with people who are not evil, despite having an sometimes atrocious amount of money. And I say atrocious to mean like I can't comprehend that number in my actual mind right now. Um, so I have begun to experience the frequency of excess, and I've stayed true to myself. So I feel ready to release the programmed fears related to finances, right? That I'm going to change or that I'm not going to handle money correctly. I have enough evidence now in my personal life to see that I will always be somebody who gives generously, who seeks to provide, especially for those who work alongside me to help my creations flourish. So I don't need to fear that. So I told the universe I'm ready to receive. So then under this full moon, they gave me one of the biggest tests that I have ever received. And I would say that I passed very well with beautiful flying colors. And I received confirmation, because that's the other thing. Once you have passed the test, the universe gives you confirmation. Sometimes in messages, often in messages first, if you know how to listen, and oftentimes through experiences. The universe loves to give you experiences that show you that you are on the right path. So um, I have been receiving all the tests, meanwhile receiving the messages. And under the full moon, that's usually when your blessings come in. So to go back to when we talked about the new moon, that's when you set intentions, right? So whatever you set intentions for in the beginning of this year, around January 20th through mid-February, those things are about to fruit, right? Those plants are about to bear fruit. But you will encounter the challenge first, right? And I can think of other people in my life that I recently have seen experience challenges. The challenges are only for the universe to, it's like the universe is asking you, do you really want that? Are you going to sabotage it? Or are you going to hold true to your values and your ethics and belief and your trust that you are ready for the thing that you want? And then the universe begins to deliver it in bigger ways. So I needed to say that to now reread this answer. Okay, ready? As this moon grants me the energy to align with my highest purpose, I promise to enact my ambitions to help others liberate themselves and feel safe to exchange power and love, which I know will help the world progress. I choose to listen to the ancient wisdom within, to not dwell in fear, and to sit in pride of your own decisions, so that I may navigate my future, especially in the areas of freedom and enlightenment of the world. As I prepare to embark on this future path, I choose to release my financial fears under this full moon so that I may experience the freedom promised to me in the future. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that it gave you clarity as we reach this full moon and are preparing to release something that is holding us back, especially something that is restricting us or imprisoning us. Aquarius hates to feel restricted. We love freedom. So I hope that you enjoy your release. Uh, remember that that future story that is for you, please keep it. In fact, if you have a notebook to keep it in, please keep it there. If you don't want to see this for a while, because sometimes it's really fun to like rip it out, fold it up, put it in an envelope. In fact, I would recommend doing this and giving yourself a date to open it. Oftentimes I do it on my birthday, which to me would align with the new moon in Aquarius. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I often make myself a birthday present over the 6 months that it takes me to get from the middle of the year to my birthday. So starting about now, I usually write a letter or a card to myself, and then little things that I pick up along the way, I put in like a little gift bag, and I don't look at it or anything until the day of my birthday. And I stop adding to it in like December or November if it feels like ready. But if you are somebody that's practicing self-love, if you're somebody that's practicing how to fill your own cup first, this is a great way to do that. And then you don't spend a lot of money on your actual birthday trying to give yourself something, right? You've taken the 6 months to devote love to yourself in those small moments by like tucking away something. And sometimes it's like little things that you want to refine later. And your intuition will tell you, right? So I hope this was helpful. I do want to say we have a full moon burn happening in San Diego. Again, we would love to host them all over the place, wherever our beautiful viewers, readers of I Am Medicine, wherever you are, we would love to make sure that there's a place for community. And if you like to do this stuff on your own for now, this is a good time to again charge up your crystals, to um, set intentions around some moon water, have a ritual release, which is what we worked on today, and to also do altar work. So this full moon beach burn, if you're in San Diego, we are going to start the actual full moon beach burn at 7:39 p.m. at sunset. But before, on 8/9, we also have a consent workshop. Now, I just want to briefly tell you about what's coming up because it's really important. We have a new moon this month, and that same new moon is happening twice. So I'll talk about this more in the next video that I put out about this new moon, but this new moon is going to be in the sign of Virgo. So this is going to happen on the 23rd of August, but then it's happening again on the 21st of September. So that's closely related to the idea of blue moons. It's not a blue moon because a blue moon is a full moon in the same sign that happens in the same calendar month, and it doesn't always happen, which is where the phrase once in a blue moon comes from. The reason why it is happening is because this new moon on the 23rd of August, which will happen at either 11:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're on the West Coast, or 2:06 p.m. on the East Coast, is going to be at 0 degrees and 23 minutes of Virgo. So it is literally in the very, very beginning of Virgo. And that's really exciting because it's not only a great time to plant intentions, but you get two beginnings for this intention. And to me, that creates a lot of stability in your intention setting because that very first new moon, when you're setting those intentions, is happening so early in Virgo. It's lending a lot of that raw Virgo energy to you. And then later on, we're going to get Virgo in a later part. The new moon is going to happen in a later part of Virgo, meaning that it's a more mature energy of Virgo that we're going to have. So if something that you're trying to plant an intention around the 23rd of August isn't like sticking, you get that second opportunity about a month later on the 21st of September as well. And that is an eclipse. So it's going to be intense because anytime we have an eclipse, when we enter eclipse season, it is intense. It is, so this is going to be an extremely potent time, and I'm getting chills on my body as I'm saying this. So this feels like really important. But eclipses are usually a time of rapid change, literally hearing a ringing in the ear for a moment. So as you are navigating this next couple of months, maybe navigate with a little extra caution once we get towards the end of August and enter Virgo season. Virgo loves to walk with trepidation. So make your plans, think thoughtfully and intentionally. And don't forget that if you need more time, you have it. Okay. So I hope this was super helpful. I hope that you feel connected to the moon right now. It's so beautiful here in Nashville as I'm like looking out the window at this waxing full moon. So I wish you well. I love you. Remember how amazing you are, how intelligent and beautiful and amazing you are, and that you are destined to do incredible things in this world, whether you have been told that or not. And that even if things are hard right now, in the world, the more that you stick to your beliefs and your ethics and your values, the more that the universe will reward you for those things, especially if you are working towards the world progressing forward towards unity, because that is truly what the world seeks. The world seeks a relationship with all the beings that live upon it. So, Uh, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure to connect with you. Please leave me a comment below. It really does help. It really helps to like the video. It helps to share it. So if you want to share it with somebody that you want to do magic with, or somebody that you know loves to do a little magic in connection with the moon, or just think. We love people who love deep thought. So I love you. Have a good day. You're wonderfully and beautifully made.